Our main is a super VIP chef who spends 25 hours cooking every day. But because he's the main character, the author gave him a championship trophy. As long as you have something shorter than 30 centimeters in your hand. Then he immediately turned into a sword god. Once he makes a move, no one can stand against him. No opponent survives when he activates his sword god mode. With a single swing of his sword. The strongest swordsman right now. I held my breath when I saw that sword. Even a 70-year-old young girl is devastated. In front of his 30 centimeters sword. And without further ado, let's begin. He has special abilities with swordsmanship. Nothing can make it difficult for him. And nothing can escape his blade. He trained so hard that his palms were covered in blood. After dropping out of high school, I spent 20 years honing knife techniques. To the point of becoming the world's #1 swordsman. Table 3, OA Car, Type A. Welcome to Tables 5 and B. Each table gets a special serving of squid. It looks delicious. The chef here is incredibly skilled with a knife. Table 4, VIP serving. Goodbye, guests. Inside a Japanese restaurant, countless diners are enjoying their meals. Someone is entering from outside. Everyone in the kitchen turns to look. It's our protagonist, slicing fish into sashimi. Chef, that's your phone ringing. Someone whispers his name. He presses a button on his earpiece, probably switched to vibrate mode, and answers. This isn't a game, I deleted it. Why am I still getting notifications? He's surprised. Is my phone broken? The chef is about to slice the fish when a waiter approaches. Guests have arrived. The waiter informs him. Tell them I'm not here, he replies hastily, putting his phone in his pocket. The phone keeps ringing. What? No one this time. That's a blatant lie. Someone approaches. He recognizes him and gives him a displeased look. Hey, Kim, the man says, looking like a powerful Yakuza boss, smiling affably. I guess it's time to answer. I'm here to listen. I bet I've given you enough time to think. He remains silent, listening to the man's request. This shouldn't be hard for a lifelong knife wielder, huh? I understand. I'm not very perceptive. The man suddenly gets an idea and tells his men, show him the suitcase. You should show your sincerity first, shouldn't you? His men produce a suitcase full of money. This will certainly not disappoint you. 300 million up front, he grins, showing all his teeth. It's a steal of a deal. You should accept, if you complete the task to my satisfaction. He threw the fish up and slashed it several times. Full of discomfort. As if to scare the others, the boss had his entire face cut off and he growled loudly, this is a clean kitchen. First of all, this is not a place for dirty people like you. Get out. The fish falls to the floor. He refuses the offer. The imposing Yakuza boss trembles before him. A real sword saint, as I thought. You're impossible. The man persists. You can't cut fish, so let's just call it a day. He picks up a gleaming knife, a flash of light reflecting off its blade. Seeing this, the men recoil in fear, even the previously stubborn boss. He chuckles twice, finally giving up for the day. Don't think this is over, I'll be back. Let's go, he orders his men, and they leave. The sous chef, seemingly used to this, still shows a hint of surprise. Outside, the night sky is full of stars. The sous chef talks to Kim. He smiles, a hint of envy in his voice. 300 million won. If I were you, I'd accept immediately. Why did you refuse? Kim takes a deep drag from his cigarette, releasing the stress of the day. My whole life, I've only used a knife to cut fish. I know nothing about being a gangster. So, you're just using your reputation as a swordsman. You're just going to scare them and take their money, buy a house, open a shop. The sous chef seems to be trying to persuade him. Maybe you just want to help you live a better life. You have to live like a human being too, Kim replies. Even if you gave me $1 billion, I wouldn't. Hey, what are all those notifications? The sous chef points at Kim's constantly buzzing phone. Dating someone, dating, it's a game, he says, chuckling. You're still playing, some guardian angel game. Damn it, I deleted it, but... Someone from the kitchen calls out, sous chef, where are you going? Why aren't you cleaning? The sous chef turns and walks back inside, a little annoyed, muttering something to Kim before leaving him alone. The boss is gone. Huh, I'll be going then. Surely the bright moonlight above the clear sky, even after a tiring day. Something like that happened made him think about the past. When I was young, my family went bankrupt, I started working and living like a child. I guess I'm too focused on making money. Then he let out a breath, his heart a bit chaotic. What is this? I keep using it in my pants pocket. Why do I keep using it? I'm so annoyed that I pull out my phone and keep using it. I reinstalled it when I was drunk, so why did I have to delete it again? Holding up his phone, he mumbled to himself, it's that game again. There's a notification. These guys have been invading the academy every year. The Divine Guardian is obscuring the Demon Lord's invasion of the academy, but it's not over yet. He accidentally tapped the notification. Pressed it and the needle felt a little excited. His phone kept ringing. What happened? Touching the screen, he tapped it. The ringtone rang out, evoking distant memories. Even after playing for a long time, the nostalgic sound was the same. The female character was still as beautiful as ever. He sighed with emotion. Suddenly, the screen went blank. His heart really ached. Suddenly, the screen turned completely white. He was startled. What the hell is going on? The sous chef went out to call him. Chef, the boss is calling for you. But he wasn't there, only his phone was glowing nearby. Where is he? The sous chef was puzzled. Why did he leave his phone behind? The sous chef looked around but couldn't find him anywhere. Hey, the boss is calling, someone yelled from inside, scolding the sous chef. Sous chef, where's the chef? He must have gone to the toilet, the boss yelled, telling him to hurry up. The sous chef turned and left, leaving the phone on the ground. The phone kept ringing. The screen displayed 100% complete. Everything vibrated and flickered on the phone he left on the rooftop. There's nothing special to say. He looked at the video on his phone and sighed. It's just a typical pay-to-win game with a standard auto-farming system. It's just another mass-produced mobile game. The game screen appeared. Tap the screen, just one click to start. He wondered, why am I playing this? The character designs are so attractive. The female character is super pretty. I got hooked on that game. It's ridiculous. I burned through my whole fortune, and it's frustrating, even after many rounds. Now, I'm not even a playable character. I'm not even a machine. Maybe it's a failure, isn't it? Click. He clicked on the character. A character with complete information. The character in the game is biting the cursor. I own this character. Here. My name is. He remained silent in front of the drink stall. That's his character, Kang Yoma. Suddenly, someone passing by accidentally touched his shoulder. It was a female character with striking blue hair. Kang Yoma immediately looked over. A girl. His eyes widened. I know what you're thinking, but it's not like that. Anyway, he turned to ask the girl, are you alright? The green-haired girl softly replied, yes, I'm sorry. It's fortunate that the Divine Guardian's setting is in South Korea. The place name and geography on the station's public address system. The next announcement was Fatso Station. Only a few characters were different, the rest were quite similar. Thanks to that, I can easily adapt. He went through the code scanning gate. The system beeped, I am a teenager. And then, within a year, Kang Yoma stood in front of the elevator. I live here. I forget if this is reality or a game. A life I never experienced in my past life. He punched in the passcode to enter the house. Until that day, Kang Yoma's peaceful life was shattered. Entering the house, he greeted his parents. I'm home. Oh, you're home. His mother welcomed him joyfully, the pride of his mother, the great swordsman Kang Yoma. Son, look at this. His mother produced a piece of paper. It was an acceptance letter, registration number 4982. Kang Yoma, the acceptance notice for students who passed the Academy entrance exam in 2034, enrollment date, April 17, 2034, location, Joaquin Academy, required, personal weapons and luggage. Looking at the paper, he could only remain silent. Finally, everything would unfold just like in the game. He nodded. His parents happily discussed how their son would study. Kang Yoma remained silent. After a while, his parents seemed to notice their son. Of course, Yoma, tomorrow is the enrollment ceremony. He sighed and forced a smile, not knowing what to say to their concern. Oh, my son, have you prepared anything? He replied, I'll go prepare now. Go, son. It seemed that his acceptance into Joaquin Academy was a source of immense pride for them. They couldn't stop their happiness. Just with an acceptance letter, yes, The small dream of living in a normal family had shattered. The next day, he looked at the acceptance letter on the table in front of him and sighed. Actually, he didn't want to go to that academy, but his parents were so happy, he couldn't refuse. Yoma looked at the screen in front of him, frowning unhappily. I've asked many times if I can drop out, but the answer is always the same. So tired, he sighed. He looked at the family photo on the table. Yoma was silent, as if calculating something. Damn it, how did you get accepted into such a prestigious school? He cursed at his game character. This is how it is. Thinking about Ma's past, he felt a little sad. Son, your powers awakened last year, so you took the entrance exam. Don't you remember? He, now inhabiting Ma's body, could only gape in shock. Before he possessed him, his powers had already appeared, and he immediately passed Joaquin Academy's exam. He's a genius. Why does this bastard still feel angry when he reads the admission notice over and over again? Explanation: divine power is a special ability that humans can use. It's like the special moves in the game, but not everyone possesses divine power. Divine power is often passed down through genes based on the presence or absence of divine power. Society is divided into three classes: the upper class, commoners, and the poor. The organization created to maintain the power of the elite is Joaquin Academy, although it was founded to train heroes. For a long time, it has been the exclusive cradle for upper-class families. Recently, special admission announcements for non-hero families, also known as special admission, were put forward, and Yoma was admitted as one of those special students. But why is the hero so praised? The reason is obvious. Because of the rise of the Demon King. Oh, once again, this isn't reality, it's just a game. I've been transported to a hero training school to prepare for war. It'll be different, but maybe it'll feel like re-enlisting. Oh man, this divine power. He leaned back in his chair, muttering to himself, for someone who wants a normal life like me, being reborn into a game character with divine power is definitely not desirable. Suddenly a menu appeared: Martial System Divine Force, Martial System Divine Force, Pain Relief, Activation Time 30 seconds, Cooldown Time 12. English. Surprise, but still criticized. The status window looks strange. Let's see. He carefully examined the status window that opened. The divine power Yoma had unlocked, Pain Reduction, Martial Prowess. As far as he knew, it was the worst kind of divine power. Why am I involved in this? Every time I see it, I feel miserable. 30 seconds of pain relief with a 12-hour cooldown. It's ridiculous. Not even enough time to scratch my butt. Alright, looking at it realistically, he realized this was the divine power granted to him upon possessing this body. Blessing of the Sword God. A new selection box appeared. The Blessing of the Sword God will end if you are injured. Activation time, none. Cooldown, none. Can only be activated with a sword shorter than 30 centimeters in length and narrower than 5 centimeters in width. He looked at it and fell silent. What the? Blessing of the Sword God? With this name, no one will dare to mess with me, right? This is a divine power I've never seen in the game. Thinking back to my past life, it's really like that. The name is completely opposite to its simple power. Getting injured means death. Why call this divine power? It's ridiculous, it's beyond imagination. But even more annoying is the activation condition, with a sword the size of a fruit knife. Reading the activation condition again and again, he still found it incredibly frustrating. A sword length shorter than 30 centimeters. Is that even a sword? A width smaller than 5 centimeters. It's clearly the size of the sashimi knife, but I mean, I should cut sashimi here. Is there any mistake? I don't know anymore. Yoma gave up. He lay back in his chair again. In the end, life is never as expected. Come to think of it, did I pack all my stuff? Right. Yoma suddenly remembered something. I forgot about my equipment. Now I remember, when I played this game, the weapons for this character were: the lowest, E grade, was worth millions of won, C grade was worth hundreds of millions, A and S grade items were treasures. He was in a dilemma. The tuition fees were already exorbitant. He didn't want to spend money on things he was forced to have. It says equipment is required, so if I don't bring anything, I'll definitely make a bad first impression. After much deliberation, Yoma sighed. 2 to 3 Siegfrieds, then, a shopping address I often used in the game. From inside that room, another door opened. Strange, glittering blue light emanated from it. My first teacher I remember insisted I choose 100,000,001 Japanese sashimi knife. He automatically broke out in a cold sweat. He suddenly remembered that old man, a master who never blamed equipment. New student, today's the enrollment day. He put on the school uniform and a standard student backpack, arriving at Joaquin Academy for enrollment. The instructor had to ask him again when checking his weapons. His face frowned. Is this really your weapon? Yes, it's a pile of sashimi knives, and they're on sale. It was unbelievable. A school that trains heroes to fight monsters, and a student uses sashimi knives as weapons. Will they even be strong enough? Not to mention, he might get skewered to death before he even touches a monster. On enrollment day, during the equipment check, when they saw his pile of sashimi knives, a silence fell. He didn't know what to say. Every year, the upper-class students played pranks. He had to establish discipline from the start. He thought Yoma's sashimi knives were a prank. He shouted, "Do you think this is a joke?" He slammed his hand on the table. "Do you think it's acceptable to use kitchen knives in the class placement test?" "This is my weapon," Yoma replied to the instructor in the most serious tone. He fell silent. "What, serious? You're not joking, are you?" Immediately, he shouted again, "This kid." The instructor still thought it was a joke. He spoke again to the instructor. Cutting him off before he could continue his rant, he replied, "I'm a special student from an ordinary family. Tuition fees alone are a huge burden on my parents, so how can I add the burden of expensive weapons to them?" The instructor now noticed the special student label on his nameplate. It's true that for students not from the upper class, tuition fees are a heavy burden. The instructor gritted his teeth. Someone affiliated with the academy promoting educational equality. This is shocking. Will the prejudices and pressures cause this student to give up? So, a 30% discount means, he continued. Only amateurs blame equipment. A new student using this phrase was truly shocking. A light emanated from his hand, causing the instructor to feel uneasy. He frowned at the student's words. A master doesn't blame equipment. This wasn't something a teenager could say. It was as if this kid had reached some kind of peak. The weight of these powerful words was like a peak Kang Yoma couldn't conquer, an unyielding spirit. It felt unreal. The instructor was finally moved by Kang Yoma's words. He started to cry. "What is this? At my age, I'm being lectured by a new student." The instructor's thoughts were interrupted by Kang Yoma. As if asking for confirmation, the instructor announced, "Student Kang Yoma's weapon is approved." "Thank you, instructor," Kang Yoma said, then put his sashimi knives back into his bag. The special student, below, some upper-class students began to look down on him. How can someone like that be here? The smell of special students, their voices are full of disdain. The new student remained silent. When the inspection ended, he quickly moved away. The instructor, hearing the disdainful words, shouted loudly. He raised his fist. "Anyone who dares to whisper, whether noble or not, will get punched immediately. Depending on your actions, I can be an angel or a devil." Clear. The noble students were startled and stood straight. Kang Yoma took the opportunity to leave, his heart slightly trembling. He felt the need to calm himself. Time to rest. After completing the enrollment procedures, he returned to the dormitory. Sitting on a bench in the school, Kang Yoma looked up at the sky listlessly. "I expected this, but actually going through it is still unsettling. Anyway, I passed the equipment check and the admission ceremony, and then only the placement test is left. Oh, I'm so tired of going to school and doing all that stuff. Can't I just test once and then be done with it?" Kang Yoma's mind wandered, "But I did it. This is the school where I'll study for the next 3 years. Joaquin Academy, the hero training school." Looking at the extravagant school in front of him, it truly seemed like it was only for the nobles. It's completely different from the pictures. To say it differently, it's like a miniature town. There's a fountain, a spacious campus, and castle-like architecture. Really impressive. Yoma couldn't help but praise it. This school is only for the upper class. Thinking about the past of having to drop out of school because of family circumstances, it feels like a dream. I actually got to go to school. I was really surprised. The time came. The loudspeaker announced the upcoming class placement test, requiring all students to be present in the training hall at 1 p.m. He was startled. Yoma opened his bag. He mumbled, "It's already started. The entrance ceremony is over, but the class placement test is more important. Let's just take the test." Get used to it. Kang Yoma took his sashimi knife with a determined look in his eyes. Let's do it. Looking back, I haven't used the knife since I arrived here, there's no need. Thinking back to the past, my master's words were the same every day. Don't put down the knife, always hold it, even when sleeping. Remember, it seems I've learned a habit from the old man. After 20 years living by the knife, will taking a year off dull my skills? He held the knife and checked its quality. Yoma tapped it, then held it up to the sun to check its sharpness. Yoma smiled happily, better than I expected. After checking the sashimi knife, let's see, maybe I'll cut a leaf in half. He opened the knife sheath, finding a training target immediately. As soon as the knife is removed from the sheath, the weapon notification system is activated, activating the blessing of the magic sword. The system issued another announcement, this time a warning: your physical condition is too weak, equipment level is too low. Yoma was startled, using inhibition to initiate user synchronization. Yoma's eyes widened. What is this? I just drew the knife and it activated some kind of blessing. May the Lord's blessing be with you. Before his eyes, a dark void filled his mind, only the system's announcements remained. He suddenly woke up, his eyes wide with fear. It seems the sword god's blessing was too much for Yoma, he screamed, a cry of pain. If this continues, I will die. 30 seconds anti-pain blessing was lost. Kang Yoma tried not to faint at the change in his body before the blessing. It was as if something shattered in Kang Yoma's brain. Everything before his eyes faded. Before Kang Yoma's eyes was only a deep crimson line, without beginning or end. What just happened? I wonder what the hell. Kang Yoma doesn't remember that this happened in the game I played in my previous life. What the heck is the sashimi knife showing? Kang Yoma mumbled. He unconsciously dropped his knife on the floor. This thing was like a three-dimensional shape. The moment he dropped the knife, it seemed like it wanted to shatter. Yoma suddenly saw what happened before his eyes. Go back in the moment you put the knife away, it's back to normal. What a strange thing that just happened. He felt his whole body aching, as if 50 people had punched him. I understand the divine power activated, but what does the Lord's blessing have to do with the pain? His face was pale. The backlash hurts too much. The divine power only has a slight pain-relieving effect on muscles after use. If every time I activate it, my hands will tremble like this. How can I use Yoma? Looking at the knife in front of me and the entrance test is coming up, what should I do? Continued to announce that all the students immediately gathered at the training building. Kang Yoma felt like he had to make a choice, but I guess I should pick it up. Looking at the knife in front of his eyes, he was a bit hesitant and couldn't let me go. Dao Sasi me can be on the ground. Maybe it only hurts the first time it's activated. It will be okay, right? He trembled, not daring to touch the knife. Taking a deep breath, clink, Kang Yoma touched the knife. An unknown electric current jolted Kang Yoma, throwing him back. He yelled, what the heck? Another backlash. Damn it. The students preparing to move all looked back at Kang Yoma. Meanwhile, at the training hall, everyone had gradually gathered. Countless students, both special students and those from the nobility, had arrived. Some were confident, others extremely anxious. Yes, 3 people were talking. They seemed to be teachers. The one with bright green hair, looking like Doraemon, smiled brightly. I don't even know how much the enrollment fee is. He looked around, noticing something approaching. He said, oh my, the journey here must have been arduous. Lord of the Winds is one of the 7-star heroes of the Lord of the Winds. Lord of the Winds, Siegfried von Nibelung. Although he looks fake, he still has his majesty. The descendant of Aaron Nibelung, disciple of the hero who founded valor, Joaquin. He remained silent, saying nothing. His hawk-like gaze was fixed on this year's incoming students. The strongest man spoke for a while. The teacher with green hair remained silent, not knowing what else to say. The bald man with a single tuft of hair said, let's leave the green-haired one alone. Shall we go back? Yes, yes. Mr. Siegfried sighed, then suddenly his face turned back and a bit of murderous intent emerged when he sensed someone. Sage has been around for a long time, isn't it? That's a 7-star hero, a saint. Media poison has been around for half a century, isn't it? That's a woman. Media, Mr. Siegfried frowned at him. I told the media that I still don't want to dress like an academy director. I'm 70 years old and still refuse to change anything. That person laughed. Don't all women want to be beautiful until they die? Then sit down, next to Siegfried. She makes an invitation with just one sentence, and I can make you look 10 years younger. Siegfried refuses. Even if he turns 70 tomorrow, he still won't grow up. People must respect their inner nature, right? Media laughed loudly at Siegfried's argument. Oh, this rotten old man, why are you still the same as 50 years ago? So Siegfried was a bit angry with the other person. He muttered, this woman really likes to be beaten. But Media's voice was a bit relaxed. The conservative old man also changed a lot and brought me to this place. I also used to hate having to share the same atmosphere with these arrogant people. Siegfried sighed. I guess the media teases you that your niece isn't quite pretty. Silent, not responding to the media's words, just staring down below as it seemed like it was about to start. Over there, the students were still busy chatting with each other, seemingly unaware of the horrors of the entrance test. Everyone here is paired up, except for Kan Yoma, who stands alone in the vast courtyard. Am I the only one with black hair? It's annoying. Are they uncomfortable because I'm a foreigner with black hair? I'm not sure, and on top of that, I'm a special student among the nobles. Special student? I remember their hateful voices during the weapons check. How can people like that be here? That stench of special students. Thinking about it again makes me feel angry and inferior. From over there, someone walked out. That person caused everyone to look over, Kan Yoma being no exception. All the other students flocked to look, regarding her like an alien object. In front of that person, perhaps everyone is nothing. Kan Yoma wasn't attracted to the girl, but every male student, without exception, blushed at the sight of her. A girl with strikingly bright blue hair, the granddaughter of the Sword Emperor, Abel von Nibelung. She's incredibly beautiful, dazzlingly so. She's the true heroine of the game, and the only reason I poured all my savings into this, despite gaining nothing, is because she's overwhelmingly beautiful and powerful. The subspace, created by the heroic predecessor Valor Joaquin, parallel to the Academy's founding, it's a completely separate reality. Damage is real here, but not in the subspace. Because there's no interference from the real world here, even murderers are looked down upon. Siegfried asked Media about the royal war in the subspace. Media nodded. Fighting in the subspace is a tradition of our academy, but this year there's a slight change in the form of the royal war. Students will be divided into groups of 10, so it's a survival game. Siegfried immediately recognized this. Media continued, looking excited. Unlimited equipment. Siegfried frowned. If there's no equipment limit, won't the upper class have a huge advantage? Media replied, don't mention it. I had to negotiate endlessly to get this. Like it or not, this school is funded by the nobles. I went through a lot of trouble to come up with this system. Siegfried sighed. So that's how it is. He's a special student. Yoma blushed. He didn't say anything. He just stood rooted to the spot when he saw Abel. She's terrifyingly beautiful. Honestly, I thought she was just a 2D character, but those idiots are trying to approach her, or maybe if I didn't know any better, I'd do the same. He mocked himself. I've played this game, so I know. His thoughts. Abel von Nibelung is a player with a miraculous blessing. In other words, she's the main character of the game. Eventually, someone beautiful like that will find someone. As for me, I'm just a supporting character witnessing Abel's life. Besides, someone like me, a special student, isn't on the same level as them. He turned and left. It's better not to get involved and invite trouble. He took out his notebook, recalling the 3 principles he set for his future. Safety, completing his studies, getting a traditional job, and living a peaceful life. Hero, he scoffed at it in his head. What kind of slow death is this? Just pulling out a knife makes my body tremble. I'm still spinning here. He swallowed, remembering the terrifying experience. He definitely didn't want to go through that again. World-saving hero. He closed his notebook. My goal in life is to find a relaxing job. The announcement blared. The 783rd year class placement exam of Joaquin Academy will now officially begin. I will explain the rules. He looked up, dejected. The loudspeaker repeated. As announced, this year will be a royal war. Out of 10 randomly selected students, the top 1 will enter the Star class, ranks 2 and 3 the Dragon class. Ranks 4 to 10 will be placed in the Common class. Classes will be assigned based on these results. Scores will be automatically recorded, and there's no time limit. He listened, recognizing the similarity to the game. The goal, common class, finish quickly and don't waste time. Subspace generation device activated, the exam begins. Something was emitted, and all the students felt themselves floating in the air. May the hero's blessing be with you. That was the last thing everyone heard before being transported to the subspace. He muttered to himself, I have to try, I can't give up. As everyone was transported to the subspace, some couldn't handle the shock and collapsed immediately. The transition made everyone tired. Group 24 completed, first place, Saki Ryojo, second place. The system continuously announced, Group 47 completed, first place, Saki Ryojo, second place, sad era. Media chatted with Sei considering the circumstances. You have your granddaughter and relatives Chang Song and Geogung, the results will change significantly, Siegfried replied. Now look at this. Media, through the selection board, saw the result, 7 minutes, 14 seconds, so fast. C-rank weapons achieved this record. Abel wants a fair evaluation. That young boy seems mischievous, Siegfried said. Even though my record hasn't been broken, she's still in the top 10 in academy history. A Nibelung descendant, he laughed. If she doesn't achieve a high result, don't call yourself my granddaughter. It seems like it's almost over. I'm going. Siegfried stood up, intending to leave. Media said, there's still one group left. Oh, to the shop. He chuckled lightly. Probably only the stragglers left. Knowing my granddaughter is VIP is enough. See you again. Siegfried stood up and left. Media teased him. See you in the next life, old man. Suddenly, something made the two stop. What is this? What kind of danger is this? Even the students felt it, and they all looked up. You felt it too? Media immediately asked Siegfried. He was also surprised and couldn't believe it. There were still a few scattered students in the courtyard. Siegfried is annoyed. This aura has never appeared in this building before. This is. There was a cry. Both Siegfried and Media cheered at the same time even though the two of them were in the 7 heroic stars. This strange thing seemed like they had never seen before. A virtual space opened. Media and Siegfried both looked to the sky with utmost vigilance. It was, suddenly, the floor crumbled. A second space shattered, and something fell to the ground. The students all watched. It was. Two things crashed to the earth, followed by an explosion. Dust and smoke filled the air. Someone fell out of the smaller space. Someone whispered, disbelievingly, another nodded. The smaller space seemed to be changing. Siegfried grew increasingly wary. He frowned, irritated. What in the world? Something else fell from the smaller space, landing beside the person who had just fallen. Media's medical staff immediately rushed to check on the student. Hurry, it's Yoma, along with his sashimi knife. No one knew what happened inside, but Yoma had fainted. It was inevitable, his fate was sealed. That damn guy. Inside the smaller space, his teammates were arguing. Then, the blonde-haired one screamed, being choked by someone. Then hit forward a wall in the subspace that cracked. Unluckily, Yoma seemed to have fallen into a deadly battle. A group of large, noble students were bullying weaker ones, and Yoma, unfortunately, landed right in the middle of it. The vicious twins from the Iron King's family, Mao Jun and Mao Shun, were cruelly stepping on other students, weak as snails, mocking them even after they were unable to fight back. Despite their natural talent, their cruelty and duplicity were unparalleled. Damn bastards, Yoma gritted his teeth, his sense of justice ignited. They had been toying with them for 30 minutes. Do I look that weak? They hadn't even noticed him, but that was all the better. Mao Jun looked at the student before him and sighed. Dead. He tossed the student to the ground and added. So boring, Mao Shun mumbled. Brother, how many? He asked his brother, who was busy torturing another student at his feet, ignoring the student's pleas for mercy. Mao Shun noticed something. Mao Jun turned to his brother. Fast or slow? He threw the student to the ground. Mao Shun sneered. Troublesome, catch 4 more. Mao Jun gave instructions to Mao Shun. I'm sorry for letting you be like that. Those 2 people are the rulers here, so they don't take other people into their own eyes. Good, the twins said. targeting a frail girl in the distance. The unfortunate girl hugged herself, trembling, but showing no signs of surrender. Yoma felt intense anger seeing them target the girl, these beasts. A girl in a corner seemed terrified. She didn't look ready to fight at all. Damn it, Yoma cursed, do I really have to fight? Mao Shan approached the girl. The battle was now like a rabbit fighting a bear. He hit her hard. Ooh, look at that, Mao Shan mocked, she's right up my alley. I wonder what kind of scream will come from those little lips, he said, activating his equipment. Want to know? Die. He was a completely depraved pervert. The girl was too terrified to move. Mao Jun cheered him on. Even for you, that's too much, little brother. Where should I tear you apart first? He laughed, sticking his tongue out and licking his lips like a bloodthirsty predator. Hey, you bastard, Yoma decided to intervene, he shouted, and the three, including the girl, were all incredibly surprised. Someone dared to challenge the brothers. Even in this smaller space, you've gone too far, are you insane? He cursed inwardly, damn it, I just jumped in without thinking. What, another one? Shun, look at his nameplate, Mao Jun warned his brother. A special student, a lowlife, they immediately dismissed him. Then, they looked at him with cold eyes, another pervert for us to torment. Brother, you go first, I'll handle this quickly, Shun suggested. Fine, Shun agreed, after I'm done with this little brat, I'll take care of that girl. Because that brat insulted us, we'll cut out his tongue. Mao Shan nodded after receiving instructions from his brother, we'll make that special student regret what he said. Damn it, Yoma struggled, unsure what to do. Should I use my psychic powers? No, they've been running rampant for 30 minutes already. Avoiding pain for 30 seconds won't help much. Yoma seemed to realize something. He flinched. Sashimi, he remembered the knife in his pocket. But if he held the knife, the blessing would activate automatically, and Yoma didn't like that one bit. Recalling the previous experience of feeling pain as if his whole body was being torn apart, the blessing of the divine sword was normal, no storms, and safe. He judged that it had not been half a day since he made his decision, but thinking back, it was true. Avoid him, damn swearing. What is this? Mao Jun and Mao Shan were extremely surprised when they saw him holding the sashimi knife. Yoma decided to pick up the sashimi knife to fight those two brats. The two of them froze. A joke, damn it, is this a joke, you bastard? Both immediately mocked him. Only she, I don't know what to say. Her eyes were full of surprise. How can you fight with that knife? You're interesting, Mao Shan raged. He bent down, his voice low and menacing. I'll make it as painless as possible for you. He leaped with incredible force. Just so you know, I'm going to smash your head in first. Mao Shan charged towards him with terrifying force. This time, it's death. This isn't a situation where I can be picky. Only 30 seconds, stepping back might work. Painless blessing, he decided to use it for 30 seconds. The system announced, all pain will be nullified thanks to the blessing. Activation time, 30 seconds. Cooldown time, 12 hours. He gripped the knife, slowly drawing it from its sheath. The sword god's blessing activated, it would counteract the pain. Mao Shan mocked him. How can you use such a pathetic weapon, you bastard? His eyes were full of anger. Perhaps, to him, he was an insult. If I get hit, I'll die. With that sashimi knife, Yoma frowned. This weight. Facing Mao Shan, who was flying towards him, it's not a fish, but a person. What kind of demon is this? How can I fight this? Why are movie gangsters using sashimi knives? Perhaps, in the final seconds of his life in this virtual space, he wondered. Can a sashimi knife cut a person? It's only for fish. This madman, it's only in movies. His master shouted, even God wouldn't help you, you idiot. If he gets cut, it's over. Everyone knows that. As the fist approached Yoma's face, he had a realization. Something shattered in his brain, like the future. Die, you bastard. Mao Shan jumped. He was shouting something, but his scream was cut in two by a blade. Hopefully, his arm was cut off by a sashimi blade. Severed, Yoma's eyes blazed. The Lord's blessing will be with you, exactly as promised. Mao Shan's prosthetic arm fell to the ground,